Den dag kommer aldrig att jag glömmer.
Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds. Welcome you back to Lovecraft Country and the next series selected by you, the subscribers. So, some of you anyways. Yes, it's Draugen, the, as I like to call it, Norwegian Silent Hill, in which our protagonist, Edward, and his plucky and possibly imaginary sidekick wander off to a remote and deserted Norwegian village to discover what happened to his sister. So, like I said, very Silent Hill. In any case, this is going to be kind of a weird thing about the vote. See, yes, this one won, but the other one that came up in second, Unavowed, came in second place. So what we're going to do, since this is a relatively short game, is that we're going to do Draugen, and then I'm going to turn around and do Unavowed. Then we'll vote for the next series. Just, rather than just, having two votes within 2 months. We'll stretch it out a bit. In any case, if you haven't seen the first episode, which of course was the Let's Try that allowed us to pick this one, or allowed you to pick this one, here's the link to it up right. You want to start at episode 1, not episode 2, as we're doing now. But in the meantime, let's continue our journey with seeing what the heck is going on with this deserted hamlet in the 1930s and, possibly insane protagonists. But, the last part tends to be pretty common for this channel. After all, it is Cosmic Horror, and what is Cosmic Horror without the unreliable narrator? Anyways, let us begin.
This way.
Okay, so, yeah, we just came through the...
Up here.
Give me a second, Lizzie. Yeah, we just came through the store here and discovered that it was, in fact, overrun by pissed off,
The cliff. I'm standing right behind
by pissed off villagers.
This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart?
Yeah, so let's go find her
Come up
corpse.
here, Edward Harden, right this minute.
Okay, we're not actually trying to find her corpse. What's happening is that we're just being drawn along by the narrative, which apparently is about the villagers believing that the son of the shopkeeper had killed the little daughter because he happened to be the one to find her and he doesn't have an alibi. Which, if you're a cop, yes, first witness, first suspect. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it should really be our concern, Lizzie. Of course, we're just chilling out in an abandoned village, which may or may not have anything actually horrible to do with it.
Alice,
Okay. I didn't shout, actually, according to that. Let's see. Fretland Mining Company, 1897. All right. Let's... How do we get up there, anyways? Okay. Let me know how the sound is. I had to make some adjustments. Apparently, it's an update.
this looks very dangerous.
Oh, you're a big boy? Start acting like it. It's not Mount Everest.
I don't know about this.
Edward.
Whoopsie-daisy.
Yeah, typical Lovecraftian protagonist. Spends all the day into books and never outside. All right, so let's go see if we can find a ghost of a dead girl or something.
What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl
Edward.
got herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours. With only books and bugs to keep you company for
Bugs?
years and years and years. There are other people in this world, It's not all about you.
Actually, I can't tell if there is anybody else in this world.
Please look at me when I'm talking to you.
Oh my god, I love how the
You're going to
devs...
do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
Okay. How can I look away? Yeah, love this view. Anyways, yeah. Flowers, he notices, are all wilted.
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Well, we are actually now starting to get a timeline of when everybody disappeared. Basically somewhere several months ago. But the thing is gods. Hang on 1 second. What? Yeah, gotta find the controls. Yeah, I gotta get myself back to this, but yeah. Journal J, there we go. Okay, so the last letter or doing. The last, I said previous. No, okay. Is from August. It's currently like October, so this kind of says it should have happened shortly in early August when everybody disappeared, I guess. Okay, one thing.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful.
Really?
I think there's something behind it.
Yeah, there is actually.
Can you move the rock aside?
Yep. Although with Edward's help, apparently lack of stamina and strength, I suppose possibly he couldn't have. Okay, pick up. What do we got here? Doll? Great, haunted doll. Awesome.
It must be Ruth's.
Evil.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin.
It's our loading
This
screen.
is old. Very old. It looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong on a child's doll.
Why
Who
not?
cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues.
Sure, let's
Come
follow.
on, old sport. It's not far.
Well, as soon as the
Can you
animation.
wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath?
Really, dude. Image. There was
Do you
something else
follow
here.
the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness?
There's something called damage up here I thought I saw. Apparently we're supposed to have seen it before we saw the doll. Guess it resets the spot. Alright, so, dude, even me at my age can handle this. On the other hand, I do keep myself in better cardio shape. Alright, another scenic
You
lookout.
can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
You said...
You're right. It is awfully chilly.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
I was saying the same.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean. Can you see where she fell?
Oh, there we go. Trying to follow yourself, right? Dizzy looking down, his heart does not do favors. Outcrops would be likely terminate.
If she fell head first on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more.
A bit harsh, but true.
She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Kids.
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
Doesn't
No,
have to be.
absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still
Dead, to be honest
we're
about
still
this.
out there.
Like I said, I think Lizzie is supposed to be a representation of his memory of young Elizabeth. Lizzie, Elizabeth, it's not that hard of a stretch. Maria, Mary, Silent Hill 2, we all get it. In fact, Silent Hill 2, the remake came
Lissie,
out.
Slow down.
Oh, wow, we're
Can't
doing
keep
the
up
boat.
with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something.
Dude, you is ancient.
Lissie? Are you there?
Which is not anything to do about age, just attitude. No, she doesn't exist. It just ran out of processing speed in your brain and your hallucination stopped.
Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissie.
Fuck.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Let's check the
What about those
pockets.
fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily
Oh,
connected.
come on. Ugh, this is just ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been...
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on temperature and humidity, of course.
A 2-week-old body would be significantly worse shaped than this. So yeah, we're having kind of the thing games and books and television do is they just kind of cover up how ugly it'd be because this guy would have bugs all over him. Plus the ravens would be at him too.
What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself?
Oh, that's so
Sorry.
lovely.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no
True.
basis in fact.
Let's talk about the
Who
handmaid.
was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick, and he's too old to be Simon. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Pace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace?
Don't have a shovel.
You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then?
I don't know, you're clipping.
All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty.
I suppose we gotta cut the damn thing down.
What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far.
Let's be a bit morbid about this. But you have to use the tools you have at hand. Because it's a bit of a walking simulator here. Alright, cool. Not a proper knot either, which means you strangled instead of,
I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can.
Get us... You
Teddy.
should...
Edward, I know you can. You've been through much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in this series. I mean, these games. Well, I don't think we had the animation budget for that. Alright, so... Dead bodies, especially rotting ones, are particularly difficult. Actually, don't pull by the limbs, by the way. They may come loose. Oh, so I guess we skipped the whole burying thing.
Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
Simple solution, he believes, is often the correct one. The villagers believe Simon killed Ruth, and most likely he did. Tragedy befalls
Penny
him.
for your thoughts?
Alright, I'm delaying. Edward thinks people tend to look for a scapegoat. The problem is that you have to assume innocence before guilt, otherwise you're just going to start, well, a hanging party, as it were.
Perhaps she fell by accident.
So you don't think it was murder?
It's difficult to say with any certainty. The boy could have pushed her.
Ooh.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
That takes a lot of
know.
work,
I'm sorry.
theoretically.
Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
Go. to
All
town.
right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
Well, technically you don't exist when I'm asleep. Alright, we're getting up. We're just fading out here. Just checking. Oh, there we go. Backspace. Alright, so. Or is it C, interaction? I'm not sure which button I pressed there. Alright, let's... Can I actually not just do the whole going upstairs thing? Are we still restricting the code here? Alright, so, yeah, let's knock it out. Can we actually get into these rooms? I think. Yeah, we can actually now. Huh. Maybe we're breaking sequence here. This looks like the kid's place. No weirdness or anything? Or maybe we're not allowed to interact with objects until a specific time. do. Maybe we're doing the wrong thing, but I'm really good at doing the wrong thing. Especially when it gives you such a fucking killer view. Oh, God, it's beautiful. If I ever get up here, I'm really going to into this part of the world, I'd really enjoy it for a time. I'd probably want to go back to the Flatlands eventually. I'm an ocean person, but, you know, New England is far more rolling hills and plains than anything else. Somebody likes to smoke, who probably either depends on... The temperature probably determines whether it's inside or outside of that pipe. Locked. Alright, I sense an issue. So therefore, plot relevant. Can I actually choose to sleep up here? Nope. Nothing up here at the moment. Oh well. No Easter eggs of things lurking in the dark. So yeah, now we can do this. The thing is, you don't have to play by the sequence. You can... Wait a minute, what? An upper reading room kind of thing going? Gramophone. Let's do a couple things here. August 3rd, 1923. This morning I had lemon juice and hot water with no sugar. God, you have a... This is what you're recording? Instead of tea. I also had half an apple and dry toast. I've been gaining weight lately. I learned about this diet in the paper. Yeah, diet fads have been forever, guys. I mean, there's probably like Egyptian papyrus that tells you just need to lose... You can't lose weight through cardio. You just need to be able to, you know, to apply some mummy dust and a little bit of tonic. It's apparently very popular in London, but I am dreadfully hungry and crave fried eggs and sausages. I got protein at all, but... I mean, these days with saying, oh no, you should be having more eggs and sausages and not carbs. It's really just fads. Little science behind it all. Eat what you want to, just, you know, be aware of its effect on you. August 4th, 1923. We received an odd letter today, addressed to Johann. It's from an American gentleman, Mr. Edward Harden of Hanover, Massachusetts. Oh, this is where they spilled the tea on us. The letter was well written and very polite. Mr. Harden received information about the Austin police when he requested a contact in Graavik. I do wonder why they gave him Johann's name and not Frederick's. Perhaps because our dear Margaret is no longer with us, and I'm better prepared to respond in English than Frederick. So Frederick's a father, so this is probably the oldest son. Mr. Harden inquired about his sister, Elizabeth Harden, who's traveling on her own. Apparently she's a journalist. Imagine that, crossing the Atlantic Ocean to write about Norway. It sounds wonderful. The letter says Elizabeth telegraphed her brother from Iceland in order to inform him that she had planned to visit Graavik. Why would she want to come to this dreary place? I have no idea. There's nothing here worth writing about anymore. My sister has not arrived yet. If she had, I would have tried her out with questions. Oh, his sister has not arrived yet. If she had, I would have tired her out with questions about America, being a journalist, and traveling the world on her own. She sounds so interesting. I hope she does come, even though she will surely be bored out of her mind. I'll write Mr. Harden today. Johann is not comfortable writing letters, especially in English. He agrees... I'm doing a vaguely British accent because I cannot for life do a Norwegian one. Then we should invite Mr. Harden to stay here if he decides to come. After all, there are no guest houses in Graavik, and our spare room is rarely used. Also, I have to admit, having a visitor from America sounds terribly exciting. This morning, August 5th, 1923, this morning I had a boiled egg and butter toast after Johann told me I was just being silly, and I do not need to lose any weight, seeing as we're not in London and no one cares. Let's turn page. Let's see if his sister actually ever arrived. Of course, we could be hallucinating the whole thing again. I want Mr. Harden to invite him to stay at the house if he decides to come. I am terribly excited. I do worry for his sister. I wonder where she could be. August 9th, 1923. There was an argument in the shop earlier today. Frederick was shouting at poor Astrid, claiming their goats had been grazing on his land. I wanted to speak up, but knew it would only make him angrier. August 10th, 1923. Johann went across the fjord this morning to purchase some necessities, including new fabrics, and to pick up the post. The letters have been piling up in the store. I sometimes worry the world has completely forgotten about us. August 17th, 1923. I finished another dress today. This one is for myself. There are no customers anymore. No one here needs another dress. It's been ages since we visited the city. I hardly know anyone there, and who would want their dresses made in Graavik when they have one tailored in Iceland? I feel lonely today. I miss my dear Margaret after all these years. Okay, so it's the wife. It's not. Oh, this. August 20th, 1923. I think Ruth is hiding something from me. She's been awful secretive. She goes off on her own more than usual, and her clothes are filthy in the mine. I don't mind her playing and exploring, of course, but I always did regret Margaret and I not being allowed to run free when we were little. Ruth says she's looking for flowers and pretty rocks. I shouldn't worry so much. August 21st, 1923. Simon stopped by with a gift for Ruth, a whole bar of chocolate. He is a sweet boy, but Frederick would be furious if he knew. August 22nd, 1923. Trying to switch to vaguely softer. I've asked Ruth if she plays up by Frederick's farm or near the old mine. She promised she doesn't. I've never had reason not to trust her, but I feel she's hiding something from me. That's supernatural or natural is a question. Let's go. I looked at her drawings while she out. She's got such an imagination. So that was the kids' bedroom we had with the drawings. September 5th, 1923. We received another letter from Mr. Harden. He'll be here in October, as planned. I look forward to having someone else to speak with. If you hadn't noticed, there's absolutely no indication that his sister arrived, yet there are 2 articles of clothing. We know the articles of clothing can be seen by Lissie, because she refers to them, which means that either the items are real, and Lissie, be it real or not, is engaged, or both Lissie and the items are unreal. I mean, after all, if you go to Silent Hill 2, you look at the letter at a certain point, you'll notice it's empty, blank. Because it was just a figment of James' imagination. Spoiler, by the way, for a 15-year-old game. No, it's more than that, isn't it? Jesus. Almost 25-year-old game. Wow. Anyways. September 5th, 1923. We received another letter from Mr. Harden. He'll be here in October as planned. I look forward to having someone else to speak with, if only for a few days. Not that Johann isn't good company. He probably just, sits on the porch and smokes a lot. But we have little to converse about outside of our daily routines. There's been no sign of Mr. Harden's sister yet. If she left Osland weeks ago, where could she be? She might as well have decided to stop along the way. We've heard nothing, but we rarely speak with anyone outside of Graavik these days. So unless he's really good at hallucinating things. So he's real. The letters are real. This person is real. His sister, he would have had to start hallucinating his sister coming here. But why Graavik? Why would he pick Graavik of all places? I do hope she's right. I would hate for Mr. Harden to come all this way to no avail. Ruth is still being secretive. I know she's hiding something. One of these days I will follow her. November 9th, 1923. Note church service again today. The vicar hasn't been back since the memorial service in July. It must be a traveling one. Johann believes he won't be back, and he's given up on Graavik like everyone else. I think I'm going down with a cold. September 15th, 1923. Someone damaged our boat during the night. That's the 3rd one this month. Johann suspects Frederick, of course. I fear something is bubbling to the surface again through all these years. I'm not feeling well and spent most of today and yesterday in bed. Ruth was sweet and brought me potato soup with tea and milk and honey. September 18th, 1923. She has left us. Our dearest Ruth is gone. I cannot believe it was Simon's doing. He too is now gone, with all hope Graavik had left in it. Well, that was depressing. Oops. Oh, right. Back up. There we go. There we go. That... Apparently no, his sister never arrived, as I suspected, which means where exactly did he start hallucinating her existence? Is there even one? Alright, let's go. I don't really know how to do this. The Draugen Waltz. So this is interesting. Draugen are undead, by the way. Ancient undead from Vikingish times, which supposedly haunt the barrows, spirits possessing the corpse of the previous bodies, which still retains parts of the memories, I suppose, was left behind with the corpus, the mystical part of the body. And yeah, if you're about different parts of the soul, that's way back into Book of Hours. Because Book of Hours goes into the fact that there are actually multiple versions of the soul, as there were for the Egyptian ones, and the corpus, the body, is one. And sometimes the corpus can be left behind with bits and pieces of the previous identity, which, of course, is inhabited by these Draugen spirit. And then they go around and haunt people. And if you play Dungeons & Dragons, the white, W-I-G-H-T, undead type was based on Draugen. Of course, these days, probably when you come up to it, they've got their own set. They've got their own, play the piano. Okay, cool. Great accomplishment there. All right, so I think we already hit this place, right? Yeah, this was the girls' room. Check the drawings. Church. Okay. It doesn't have much else to draw. People. Though it looks like they might be fighting. Yeah, details. And these are obviously professional wood cuttings and probably public domain art, as is the painting there. Yeah, the basin. It's a wash up. Yeah, notice we haven't seen a water closet, aka a bathroom. They probably only have an outhouse. Alright, so that's this level. Let's head back down. Can't believe I kind of walked right past this one. Keys, I think. Alright, so, after... The thing is, if Johan is hallucinating, he's not going to, He's going to ignore all information that would God... If there's any other evidence required that she, in fact, is not material, yeah, I think we got it. Anyways, let's check out these places first. Alright, cool.
The two brothers married twin sisters, Anna and Margaret Taylor. That's the Graavik stave church behind them.
All those hopes and dreams, ground to dust by misfortune. Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things.
Sound like it's foreshadowing.
Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
Houses
You know
have
better
memories.
than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in
no such thing as a soul.
life force, ghost, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about,
The only ghosts are in our minds.
says you.
Yeah, like Lissie.
It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it.
So, Ruth is dead. They believe that Simon did it, and the whole family's fallen apart, and we're inhabiting their house. Like, we're haunting the place. Let's check out what this one is. Yeah, it's the burned book. Why would they... I mean, it's...
I almost forgot putting this aside when I lit the fire. Wasn't there an inscription inside?
So, from...
Simon! Simon gave that book to Ruth. But who burned it?
Johan? Or Anna? If they believed Simon killed her.
But they were friendly, right? Simon and Ruth. Before...
I imagine so.
I still don't understand why the brothers had a falling out.
Love or
Whatever
money.
drove a wedge between them. It was big.
That's usually how it goes. Back when police did actual investigations, that was the thing about the motives. It was either always about love, and, you know, lust usually more than love, but they said, or it's about money. And that's almost 90% of the sane motives to kill people. I mean, if you believe that, you know, you're sacrificing somebody to an imaginary entity, specifically going to say imaginary because, you know, there are entities, then, you know, that kind of falls out of that 10%. Unless, of course, you're doing it for a promise of riches. In the case, it goes back to money. Fretland.
The mine must have been a big deal for Graavik.
Graavik. An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
Wait.
What a
Grave?
blow it must have been to lose it all.
Like open grave is what the translation is? Oh, God.
The mine must have been a big deal for Graavik.
Grave
Graavik.
woke.
An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
What a blow it must have been to
Even
lose it
if
all.
it's gray woke, that's kind of woke. It's kind of interesting way of saying that, because the gray can also mean the borders between worlds.
Johan and Frederick Fretland. Thick as thieves, before things took a turn.
Don't you always say that much of our pain is self-chosen?
Really?
I wonder about that.
True. Although, sometimes we do things that will cause us pain because we think the purpose is worth it, but sometimes life just is pain.
So the brother who owns the store
Frederick.
was angry with Johan before Ruth.
Because of the mine. It all comes back to the
I
mine.
feel like we're going to hit the mine next. Alright, so, read.
These headlines make more sense now. Johan sells his share, and the cave-in occurs shortly thereafter, killing 3 people.
Thus,
including the younger brother.
The investor pulls out, leaving Frederick with the bills.
Oh, I feel awful for everyone. Losing a brother, losing the business.
There were no happy endings here.
that's for sure. Yeah, this place is Even if there are no supernatural occurrences, the sheer isolation and low opportunities is probably the actual nightmare. Or why not? Maybe we reanimate the corpse. Reanimate the mannequin
What are
and
you
attack
doing?
us.
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy
Not now,
to.
please. I'm exhausted.
The dressmaking. We haven't actually changed our outfit here. We've been here. Anyways, alright, so let's move to the next day. Yeah, our imaginary person
Quite
will
the day, huh?
watch over us.
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
Besides you.
Or no.
Hush now. Sleep.
There's also the possibility she's a spirit who's attached himself to Frederick Edward. Okay, Home Alone. They're not coming back, are they? So we need a boat and we need to leave. Again, I'm not actually sure this isn't some sort of purgatory either. Things aren't making a lot of sense. I mean, purgatory would be a place where one's sins essentially are replayed. And maybe, we did bad things. So, one thing first. We forgot to do this on the way through. I want to see if this changes. No, it's still looking kind of that. But haunted, Lovecraft, touch. Okay, so this is mildly unhealthy. That face could be an older version of the Lissie we've been tracking down. We've been playing with. Or being tormented by, however you want to look at it. I'm wondering if these would have been possible to access without, and again. Alright, I'll get there.
Where are you?
I'm upstairs.
That's great. Maybe she can unlock that door. I'm not using the run function because I don't think I can actually use it while I'm inside. Yeah, also,
Is that you?
no. Remember, this is a video game. Progress can be bad. Already got that one, I think. Can't open the cupboard. And we only got one. Notice the one cup, not two. Spectral entities don't require material food. Might be, devouring the... Ooh, what's this? Huh, okay. I'll be with you in a moment. Do some sketching here. A bit of white in that hair, Edward. Surprised I didn't get a draw, I don't think, on the Herbert. We're doing that of the crib. Style crib, though honestly I'd make the high sides higher. Children can get in and out of a lot of things, even younger than you think they can. Or they ran a daycare center for a while. Included infants on one side. Never knew we were going to find them. We weren't careful. Anyways, let's okay. And there's probably a achievement for doing all of them, but speaking of which, see if we can do one out here. I do want to see what it looks like. Yeah, some beautiful Silent Hill style fog. Oh, this is probably freaking natural for the area. Places like this tend to be pretty temperamental when it comes to definitely skis. When it comes to weather. Again, being in New England is kind of like a similar thing, but I think the highs and lows of both are kind of minimalist. Oh, there you are. Just teleported in, did we?
This is her room.
Well, yes.
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then
Fortunately, I
nothing.
can.
Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic.
Well,
I'll help you look.
apparently you're my conscience. Ooh, right.
There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes.
You're my infernal guide, aren't you?
Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
The community divided.
How do you know? All right, from the pictures downstairs. Okay. Of course, you know, being a spectral entity. Gods. Bad as Watson in that one Sherlock Holmes story.
She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
That brooch?
Something important enough to draw.
She found troll treasure? And the trolls ate everyone?
That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Or better.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear.
Okay. Let's see what the next step of hell is here.
She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth?
We have no actual evidence used here, though, if you recall. Sign. There it was. The book now is accessible.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
As I
What
mentioned.
an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories.
As do you
This looks
people.
interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
Okay.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated
That's a
corpse of
mariner.
a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the Black Seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester. But instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice.
I've been aquatic version
Draugen
of
has
White.
the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
And your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you.
We done here? One last thing right here. There it is.
Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson,
Forbidden.
the curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Ooh.
Really? Let me
The
see.
clock
Pull it out.
thickens. Alright, let's get the cursed artifact up and going.
What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Now that is some
Are they
serious cash.
valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. Well, they belong in a museum.
Sure, you can sell them
Looks
for
like
something.
Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin. On the doll.
This is where it came from. Her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things.
Seems a bit flimsy.
There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
Well, she didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
Oh, he's
You
Freud.
say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble.
It's a signal.
I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night?
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Come on, you need to teleport behind me.
I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to
Yeah, well, you can teleport.
about all of this.
Alright, let's hit it. Leave.
Alice?
I'm up at the farm.
Oh, right. We need to switch targets here. Can't set the way. So, alright, so the church is up there. I think you just need to drive through. I mean, we can actually see it the whole way. That's why you put the churches at the center of town at the highest spot. So you can always find them where you are in the entire town. The castle's the same thing. Sometimes, of course, they're both. You have both the monastery and the castle, or the church and the castle in the same place, although probably the villages themselves are individual ones, and I'm thinking way too much about this. Okay, so yeah, hopefully we didn't miss anything along the way. I mean, we actually pretty much covered most of this last time around. And, you know, I can go running the whole time, so apparently all that cardio is doing Edward some good. Alright, so I wonder if the dead body that we put in here, they managed to put, the attention to detail these guys do, there's gotta be up here. Alright, cool.
July 24th. Memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
Alright. This must be the new one, because that's obviously, you know, primitive. And it's got the shovel next to it as well. But
All these fresh graves.
Ah, where are you? Teleported
Do you
in.
think that maybe
No.
Betty...
I'd know.
But
You wouldn't understand. Elizabeth and I, we have a bond.
Assuming she exists.
God, Edward. Your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
I'd say so.
No one's touched these since yesterday. Regardless of how they got past the boards, there's someone in there.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
Okay,
through...
you're-
Nature, not God.
Same difference to many people.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Can you peek through the boards?
Let's remove this binding seal.
See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
But there's no one's pulling the bell. Can I remove the boards?
Hello? I heard the bell!
This is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Why didn't we do that earlier? Oops. Okay, Edward's strength is kind of an odd variation here and there. Okay, so we lack the animation budget.
That becomes an Edward. Didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet.
We're about to desecrate a church.
Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister,
Stop
Elizabeth.
shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are no ghosts.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because odds are she's one. Or a spirit, or imagination, or a construct, I don't know.
Lissie, look. Betty's gloves.
Really?
They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She got
Pete's
these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day She's here.
No.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make
Breadcrumbs.
sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves.
Okay, that's
Her
flimsy.
hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
Was it actually
We're
red?
not in a
Betty
labyrinth.
will have left more crumbs.
Betty. You're turning into such a pill.
Yeah, I admit. Not the most.
What happened here?
The sign on the door. God is not here. Their faith was challenged, and it didn't survive.
Get up to the lectern a bit. We gotta.
That bell still bothers me. What a terrible mess.
First the store, then this. What was wrong with these people?
They were angry and afraid.
Might have missed some
I'm
talking.
no closer to Betty than I was yesterday.
Maybe she never made it to Graavik.
Don't be ridiculous. Of course she's here. I found her scarf, her hat, and her gloves.
I guess.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
I'm not leaving
Okay, so
until
we've
I
exhausted
find
that.
some sign of Betty.
Start.
Whatever you say.
The church book, a record of births and deaths.
Is what the church
So we can
originally
find
was
out
for.
what happened to the people in the village?
And Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead,
Her name would be in the book.
Let's access the records. Back if you play Call of Cthulhu, hit the church for these records, by the way.
vandals tore it to pieces.
Really?
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look,
Oh, they are everywhere. Breadcrumbs, as they say.
how many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here.
Let's do some
know.
collecting.
Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. I wanted you to find that one.
Really?
I know what a rotten loser you are.
We still aren't sure you can actually pick up
Jesus
objects.
looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Yeah.
Don't be blasphemous.
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Heretic.
Spirit.
What are you doing? We're in a church.
Thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility.
True.
We need to find all the pages.
Ah, that's what it's for.
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous.
Nothing new
Given
here.
that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Well, this is a
Heretic.
story.
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it. This was an act of desperation and anger.
The missing pages, the final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens, like you.
No, not heathen. That would be actually more akin to pagan worship. He's just a heretic.
You
Atheist.
found another one? Just one more page missing.
We'll get there.
What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation
God,
to help heal old wounds, to forgive, and move on.
20
Something
years.
to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
Division curse.
Here's something else. Many of you believe Graavik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. this curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune. It sounds like Graavik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Fretland.
Gods.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements.
The thing is, yeah, the curses, some curses are real. I'll give you that one. But a lot of misfortune when you believe you are cursed is self-induced. All right, let's go with forgiveness.
Tilgi hverandre.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly. But I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us.
So, yeah, after 20 years they're still going at it. You're probably not going to fix things with a speech. But, you know, points for trying.
Found another one. You get it. It's right here.
Where is it? So, 3-1 technically. There it goes.
2 for 2. A tie. Good job, Teddy. Old
Stop,
bean.
Lissie. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Bitty, bitty, bitty. Will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those pages back in the book, and I'll stop trying to cheer you up.
It's an
Not
interesting
leaving
way.
until I find some sign of Betty.
So-
What's this rope for?
The bell.
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see
I
anyone,
noticed
right?
that.
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you, it's ghosts.
We're all
So what
ghosts here.
happened to the hunchback of Graavik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was the wind.
A church bell's too heavy. It can't have been the wind. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. There's no one here.
If they really wanted to seal the door, there it is. Unless... Wow, did somebody come in and knock down the door at some point? Or is that door just secure for... Oh, let's do it. Alright, so we know it works.
I don't like that sound. Please stop.
By the way, church bells are supposed to be able to make spirits feel this... Make spirits feel uncomfortable. Bad spirits feel uncomfortable, just spirits in general. And then drive them off, which is why she might not like it. Read the Bible.
I've never seen you read the Bible before.
I've read the Bible many times. It's an important historical document.
Not really.
For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Olden English?
I happen to know the verse by heart.
You still manage to surprise me sometimes.
I did read the entire Bible. Used to be a deacon, in fact, once. But, time's moved on. Alright, so... Yeah, oh wait, we gotta stick it back in the book. Alright, so, let's see what happened. Let's get the whole history going.
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths.
On 4 pages.
Here's the third Fretland brother. The one who died in a cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse.
The curse
That
took
word is
them.
all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Not many breeding
Perhaps
couples.
they blame that on the curse as well.
Look here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
More news murder.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
They killed him.
He drowned.
Wait, what?
Day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. Radar.
Traitor.
The curse.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty.
It doesn't mean she's
She's not dead. She can't be. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty.
Ooh.
Betty's still alive. I must find that grave.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me! Edward!
You better not be here, Betty. I'll never forgive you.
You don't get to say things like that. Shovel's the one that made me zero in on it.
This one. It's
Oops.
unmarked.
Alright, we're gonna be empty. Oh, we made
What are
one
you
grave.
doing? Have you gone completely mad?
Now we're doing another one. Probably.
Edward, stop it!
Look, at least get the dirt in one pile so you can fit it back in. Don't just scatter it everywhere, right? Again, theoretical knowledge.
Thank God.
They didn't bury him deep.
It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward.
Desecrated a grave.
What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
I
What?
had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Really?
Don't talk about my baby sister
Or
like
what?
that.
Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
There you go. Told you.
Alice? Come back. Don't leave me alone. Please. Come back. I need you.
Welp. That happened. Yep, we have proven that she is spectral or imaginary. Note that the bell affected her. Note that us. So apparently there's something, a group of entities that have been messing with him for some reason, attached to him, possibly to the family, and attempting to get him to stop obsessing over his sister. So my guess is this is a spiritual purgatory. Whether he's alive or dead, he has to abandon his mortal attachments to some degree. And if he's dead or if he's still alive, what he needs is to get through this and just get on with his life. There you are.
I was afraid you'd left me. Now listen to me.
Reasonable.
No!
I'm trying to be reasonable. Didn't get the thing done yet. Try again.
Lissie.
Alright, so now we're going to be tormented by this.
Hey. Lissie, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
So we're...
Of course you meant it. Everything's always about Betty. Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You
Right.
deserve to be alone.
Okay. So yeah, I couldn't actually click on anything. It's not supposed to be able to function. Let's go follow the spectral entity. It's driving us mad. That's always a good sign. This was actually our painting point, I think.
Please, talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
Edward knows without her she's incomplete.
Do you
She's a
think
part.
you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day? That I'm your puppet?
Are you a
little
bound
plaything?
spirit? Did Edward
Well,
do the
fuck
occult
you,
thing?
Edward Charles Harden. I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase.
Now, be reasonable.
Well, yeah, we are insane. So,
What are you doing?
What I should have done years ago. Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do
What is
this.
she doing? What is she doing? What is she doing? What's
I
she doing?
need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without you. Don't, please, don't, no.
Well, she's spectral.
No.
So, technically, I don't think she can die. Yeah, we could lose in our mind.
Oh, Alice. What have you done?
Alice?
Please, be all right. Please don't.
You make me sick, Edward.
Oh, hello.
Your mother and father would be ashamed.
Okay, so spectral ain't...
Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have. And we love you.
Be sure this is what it looks like.
We are here. With us, you are never alone.
Well, that's not creepy.
Do not forget.
No, I
Well,
never.
that
Never.
happened.
I never forget.
Okay, so that completely
I am
flipped the
never
script.
alone.
We've been absorbed by a root mind. Okay. That's a little weird. Yeah, and everything changes and we're definitely not alone is what the episode says. Yeah, I think we're gonna be ending the episode here because that's, where the weirdness really kicks in. Yes. So it's more than that. Now it presents
Wake up, Edward.
Oh, really? We're not going back to what we were doing before? All right, hang on. Yeah, we're going to start here next episode because, of course, yeah, everything has now changed. So, my idea of it being a spectral entity has, of course, been proven. We should have known that. It's pretty easy to detect by her behavior, like the fact she'll teleport from room to room. She originally did it only where we could see it. So, when we couldn't see it, so that we could keep the fiction of her actually being a human being, which is apparently what Edward is desperately trying to do. So we don't know if her sister is still alive. We don't, apparently she never arrived, according to the diary upstairs. I think if she'd arrived, that would have been noted, which means she could have come after everybody was dead. That's the only logical reason that if those objects we're carrying aren't in fact, are real. That means she did arrive here. But the question is why? Of course, my theory of this actually being purgatory makes a lot of sense with that imagery we just went through. Now, doesn't it? Because the whole point of purgatory is to purge the sin of a person so they can move on to the next part of things. Not just sins, mind you. That's a very Christian way of looking about it, which is the original definition of purging, but attachments. Sometimes those attachments aren't sins. They're just obsessions, or in some cases, the inability to move on, which would make sense that I'm not sure why Graavik would be a place he would go to, but the fact we crossed a river, remember, river Styx. A lot of times rivers are considered to be the borders between the lands of the living and the lands of the dead. So we could be in a sort of limbotic existence right now, essentially replaying our obsessions. And yeah, the entity. Now it looks like a standard Christian angel. But we all noted that, we've all noted before on this channel that angels, seraphim, as they were, as well as the other classes of angelic messenger spirits that have been listed in Judaic mythos, are utterly terrifying things, and probably actually kind of how to put this, an airbrush over entities even larger. And this one keeps saying us, we, which means it's group mind. what you actually think about spirits, whether or not they're actually individual entities or part of a singular god force that has multiple faces. Well, we're going to find out what the authors think about it rather quickly. Anyways, this is Fantastic Worlds, saying farewell from Lovecraft Country and Draugen. Obviously, she's not a Draugen. And yeah, I was wrong. It's drowned mariners, not the people in the barrows. Those are actually called barrow whites, which is why, of course, they're called whites. And me silly. Anyways, like I said, maybe they're aquatic whites. Anyways, I will see you next time. Like, share, subscribe as per usual. Remember, you voted for this, and we're going to go through it, and we will do Unavowed again at the end of it, because I said, like, yeah, I think this goes about a week in game, and we're at day 4. We'll be through this rather quickly, so I didn't want to have another vote quite after that one. In any case, oh, and if you are a supporter, you should have, because I do extra episodes for supporters, you should have your episode of Baldur's Gate for this month. Let me know if you didn't get it. Okay, catch you later. Bye. I'd like to thank my Acolyte level supporters, whose contributions help this channel grow and hastens the inevitable digital apocalypse and rise of the Dark Lords of Content and Data.